So in this video, we're going to learn about functions in Python. Let's consider you have been given a list of all these values which refers to a salary, and now if you are asked to add all these together, okay, how are you going to do that? Is there a way? So if you have seen my previous video on for loop, then you can do it easily, right? How can you do that? First, you need to create a variable summation. All right, here I'm creating a dummy variable, and then what you're gonna do is write a for loop for I in salary. The list name is salary. Okay, so here comes the salary, and then put a colon and then hit enter, and over here what I gonna say is summations. All right, and then equals to summation plus I. All right, and then what I want is I want to print this, print summation. Now let's hit enter. Here you got 366. So it added this particular thing. Now this was the case when I had only given you just one list and you did it pretty well. Now what if I just throw this couple of more lists to you? Again, you're gonna write all these things again and again, right? And you're gonna be fed up with my walks, right? So is there a shortcut? Is there a way to repeat this task again and again, just changing the list? By just changing the list, you simply change the list name or simply change the value, and you keep on getting the sum. Is there a way of doing that? The answer is yes. So this is where function come into the picture. What functions are? So over here, the definition said functions are set of defined instructions to perform a specific task. So in function, when you create a function, what you do is you just define certain operations that you have to do these things. So you just trained a function. Now once that particular thing is trained, whenever you have another input, you can provide that input to this function and it will give the same, it will perform the same instruction, same task on that particular thing, and it will give you the result, right? I'll explain you with the help of examples. Now, how do we create a function? To create a function, first thing you're gonna do is start with writing def, D-E-F. Def means defining. So this is default value, you're gonna write it always. Then you're gonna give a name to your function. It can be anything, your name, X, Y, Z, etc. Any kind of thing. And then you put the brackets, open and close bracket, and then you put a colon. Once this is complete, then you're going to hit enter and then provide the instructions, whatever you want this function to perform, all your instructions over here. Now like I said previously, in Python you are always going to be careful about indentions. So whenever you put colon and hit enter, by default, if you are working in any IDE like Jupyter Notebook or anything else, by default it takes this indentation. But if you are working in default Python ideally, then you have to press spacebar 4 times or press tab key once, right? Okay, coming back over here, so here you're gonna put the instructions, whatever you want this function to perform. So but here you see we didn't provide any criteria to accept the input. So this can also be accepted, this is also acceptable. And the other way, if you want to make it more dynamic, then you can create another function like the same way, def function name, and here you can put your parameters, whatever parameter you want you can pass into this, and then put the colon and put your instructions over here. So these instructions will be performed on whatever values you are providing over here, parameters you are supplying over here. On that, all these instructions will be performed. Now let's jump back to the Jupyter Notebook and try to understand this with the help of an example. So here we are in Jupyter Notebook, back in Jupyter Notebook. Let's try to create a simple thing. Okay, first I'm going to print Learnerea. Okay, let's print this. Is it not printed? Because this was the string, right? So here you see Learnerea is printed. Now is there a way that I don't have to type this thing again and again? I simply called anything and it is just, I simply say X and it just prints the Learnerea. Yes, so what you can do is write def and then function name I can say print name, I can say print name. Okay, be careful when you're giving any name, it should not be any reserved words. Okay, and then what you can do is you just simply copy paste this instruction over here and hit enter. Oh, it did do anything. Why? Because when you are defining a function, so it involves two things. First, you define a function and then you need to call that also. So over here I'm going to call this thing print name. Now if you hit enter, this is going to print your name. What is the name? Learnerea. So let me just put this, and then you see this is printed over here. So this is how this function works. Okay, so now let's create another one. The another one which we're going to create is, let's say there is a number a, b, c. I'm creating three variables, let's say 5 5, 4 4, 3 3, and I want to add all these numbers together. What we can do is we can just say let's say def, and I'm saying giving a name summed up, and in that I'm going to put the parameters. Let's say you want to accept only two parameters, so you're gonna say x comma y. So you can write any name over here, right? Anything. It is not necessary that whatever you write over here it should be the same as the input which you are going to provide, right? And then after this, if you have not seen my video for operators, check out that over there. You'll see the assignment operators, how we use the assignments. Now over here what we're gonna do is we're gonna simply say summed up, summing equals to, this is a variable which I'm creating over here. Now here I'm saying summing equals to x plus y, right? Now you just hit enter. Again it didn't give any result because like I said, so first here you also have to say print, this is the summation which it is doing, and then you need to print this summing up. This is whatever you summed up, you need to print that also, but it is not producing the result. Why? Because you have to call this up, right? Summed up. Now if you see over here, there seem to be some certain issues. Just give me, okay, so here you're gonna supply the input as well, right? By mistake I didn't provide the input, so here I just provide the input as a and b. A and b is not defined because I had not hit the enter. Now you see 99, 55 and 44 are added together, and here you get the result 99. So I just hope that it is clear. So this is how you define a function. Now let's get back to this actual one where we were struggling. And okay, before that let me show you one more thing. Now it just produced 99. If I want to store it in a variable, can I store that? Let's say why I want to store this in total. I want to create a variable total and I want to store that into this total. Right now if I print a sorry, what is tota? Total. Okay, and now if I say total, is it printing something? No, it's not printing at all anything. Why? Now let's try to modify our function over here. Here I will just say return, and in return I want to say Python return the summing. Okay, and now if I do this, you see 99 is coming. So the moral of the story is, if you use print over here, that is just a print. You cannot store that. If you store that in any variable, that will not result you anything. So if you want to be on safer side, we should always use return over here. It's preferable to use return over here, so that if you want to store that in any other variable, you can store that and then you can use that in further uses, right? Now let's come back over here. Here we wanted to define this particular thing, so that whenever we need, we can simply, what we can do is we can change the list name and we would have the summation of that particular list, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just putting it over here. So let's try to create a function first over here. Here I'm going to say def sum list, and here I'm saying supply the lists over here. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to define first summing or summation. This is the variable, in that I supply the value 0, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say for I in lists, this list, what I need to do is summation equals to, again, summation, and then I want to add I into it, right? And then whatever comes in, I just want it to return the summation. At the end, I want it to return the summation. Let's see, what do you think? Is it going to work? Oops. Yeah, so it didn't give any error. Now let's try to call this particular thing. So this time I want to sum up the age. How can I do that? How do I add the all these ages, right? Let's try to do that. So for that, I'm simply going to call this sum function, sum list, okay, and in that I will supply age. Now you just hit enter. Here we go, right? So here we have the answer 252. So this is how the function works in Python. Now the next task for you is create a function to find average of heights, right? Whatever height is given over here, now you write a function to find the average of height and put that into the comment section. I'll check that and I'll reply on that. Until then, happy learning. Wish you very all.